Hi, welcome to the Anti-Politica channel. I am Jovan Grahovec. I'm Serbian American and a professor of strategic management. On this channel, we make two kinds of videos with one common theme. And the first kind is videos in Serbian addressing political, economic, and social issues in Serbia. And the other kind are videos in English addressing those same issues in the United States and around the world. And the common theme is that we typically focus on questions that are not political in the sense that for us, political issues and questions are those on which rational and honest people can disagree. But there is a whole bunch of other issues on which all rational and honest people should agree. And we find it very, very unfortunate that many of these issues are not taken care of because people have political differences and find it difficult to talk to each other and take actions together. So here we want to bring to the forefront those issues and invite everybody to try to do something about those despite their political differences. In today's installment, we'll talk about vaccine mandates. And suggest that we should all, despite our political differences, contact our representatives in DC, our congressional representatives, our senators, our state representatives, and our state governors, and tell them, look, these vaccine mandates don't make any sense. Let's get rid of them. And this is no longer a political issue. Vaccines, now it's crystal clear, don't preclude you from getting COVID or from transmitting COVID, as we have seen just earlier today with our president who got COVID despite being vaccinated and boosted multiple times. So as soon as that fact becomes known, any rationale for imposing vaccine mandates on anybody become completely unjustified. There is no medical purpose or public health purpose to impose vaccine mandates on anybody. In addition to that, as Tucker Carlson laid out really nicely earlier this evening, there is emerging evidence that these vaccines are also somewhat risky, and for some parts of society, some young people, young healthy people, it seems that the vaccine itself may be riskier than the disease itself. So from the moral standpoint, this seems like a really, really wrong thing to do, to impose mandates on anybody. So as we said, we want to encourage everybody to contact their representatives and voice their concern about this ongoing madness going on in our society that's completely unnecessary, and it's actually harming us, as we will talk about in this video. In addition to that, there is a tennis sports controversy coming up that's going to become a hot topic in the coming months. So this will be a chance to basically act on this issue because it will be talked about in the media. Namely, the big tennis tournament, US Open, one of the 4 big tournaments during every tennis season, is coming up in New York. And one of the most famous tennis players of today, a fellow Serbian whose name is Novak Djokovic, seems likely to be unable to come and play in the tournament because he has not been vaccinated and he has had COVID. He thinks he has natural immunity. He's in a really, really good shape physically, and he has a very strong belief that your decision to vaccinate or not is your personal choice, and it's something between you and your doctor, and nobody should order you to take a medication or treatment that you don't want. So current US regulations require anybody coming to the country via an airport to present the proof of vaccine, COVID vaccine, and in our in our view, that's completely wrong, unacceptable. It's probably hurting our tourist industry, and is about to hurt our major tennis tournament, and basically damage the competition, because one of the most famous players will be unable to attend. And to make things worse, Novak Djokovic is in a tight race with the Spaniard whose name is Rafael Nadal, to be the most successful player of all time, with the highest number of Grand Slam tournaments won in their career. So this is becoming somewhat controversial, and it will be a hot topic in the coming months. So we encourage everybody to take advantage of that and contact your representatives, and let's try to get rid of this mandate. Speaking of Djokovic, many have suggested, well, why just take your vaccine and be done with it. But he has taken a very firm stand on this, and he's upholding his principle, and he's willing to take a big financial hit. He's foregoing substantial income, which is probably in millions of dollars, by not attending one of the major 4 tournaments during the year. He's foregoing prize money. He's likely to go to the quarterfinals or finals, or even win the tournament, and then we're talking about millions of dollars. And probably more importantly, sponsorship money, media exposure, and other streams of revenue that you forego if you don't show up in one of the major events of the year. So he's taking a big hit, but he thinks it's worth it, because he wants to defend his bodily integrity and his right to make his own medical decisions. To compensate that downside, he has acquired a bit of an international status as a defender of these basic human rights, to control your own body and what gets injected into your body. So he has gained respect from a lot of people who may not even be big tennis fans. They recognize his strong position on this and his willingness to take a big financial hit. However, when we talk about Djokovic, he's a rich individual. His family is not going to face a threat of eviction or major problems because of his decision. But this time we want to draw attention to several groups and classes of people who are much more vulnerable, who are suffering from this requirement, and also argued that this requirement is hurting us. The entire society is basically suffering and paying the price for this madness. And the first group is nurses. It's especially unethical and problematic to impose this requirement on the people who got us through the pandemic and were celebrated as heroes. And now for society to tell them, look, we don't want you, we don't need you, we will take away your jobs and your income from you, and we don't care what happens to you because you don't want to take this vaccine. That's just profoundly wrong, and many lives have been turned upside down due to this, and it's time for that madness to stop. Also, and this is something that's very important, this is really bad for entire society. Healthcare system is very expensive. There are lots of expensive hospital facilities, lots of equipment, lots of hardware, lots of software. This very, very expensive system is there to serve us and take care of our health needs, and it's completely irrational to make that system less efficient by taking away one crucial input, which is skilled and knowledgeable labor that makes this system work smoothly. So by getting rid of thousands of highly knowledgeable and motivated nurses just because they don't want to take the shot that, as we now see, has no medical justification, that's basically making this system inefficient, much more costly and much less and worse performing than it would otherwise. So we, in these tough economic situations, we are paying the bill for this insanity by not taking advantage of the highly trained and motivated people who would be happy to work in this system and have it operate more efficiently and more competently. A similar thing with our soldiers. Just like it takes forever to train a nurse, army specialists, soldiers, they spend years in training, and mercifully and hopefully U.S. courts have stepped in and for now prevented the firing of our soldiers in our Air Force, our airmen, which are very costly to train. These people have signed up for army service. They're willing to sacrifice their life, and it's just insane for society to tell them, look, we don't need you if you want to take this jab with questionable benefits to you and your health. Thankfully, courts have stepped in, but this just needs to be this issue just needs to go away, and this is one additional reason to basically contact our representatives and tell them that this needs to stop. And the third population that's really close to my heart, and I've been personally affected by these vaccine mandates, but that's nothing. I can weather this storm, but I'm really concerned about students at our universities. If you look at the map, in pretty much all Democrat-run states, all institutions of higher learning require mandatory vaccines for all their students, their staff, and the faculty. Interestingly, many Republican states as well have many state universities, and I'll talk about this in another video, that require the students, faculty, and staff to get vaccinated. And many private institutions in Republican run states also require vaccines. There are very few states such as Florida and Texas, I believe, and a couple of other that have basically prevented institutions from imposing these requirements on the students and the faculty. I'm particularly concerned about the students who are young. It turns out that the benefits to them of being vaccinated may be lower than the risks that the vaccines carry with them for these young people, especially those who are in good shape and in athletes and so forth. So it's completely unethical and it's morally wrong to impose mandates on our students. And I really have sympathy for the students who have, for example, completed 1 or 2 or even 3 years of their college. They have incurred huge costs in paying the tuition, investing significant amount of time and effort in completing their studies. Many have accumulated student loans, and it's just profoundly wrong if the institution then says, okay, in order to complete your degree, you need to take this vaccine. So in contrast to Novak Djokovic, these individuals are in a very tough position with student debt accumulating, with large sunk investments in money and effort to get to where they are and get ahead in life. And now the institution is imposing this unfair mandate to them. For the sake of the students in your state and in our country, and their health and their well-being and their bodily integrity, their basic right to refuse medication and treatment that they don't want, I invite everybody to contact your representatives in DC and in your state legislature, and your governors in your state to tell them, look, we don't want this, and this needs to go away. As I said, I'll have a deeper discussion of the situation at American universities in another video. But for now, I just wanted everybody to use the opportunity that will come up soon as this issue of the US Open and Novak Djokovic seeps through the media, to basically take advantage of that and use the attention of the society at large and our representatives to finally do something about this. So with that, thank you all so much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it. And you're more than welcome to subscribe to this channel. And one thing about this channel is that you will not receive too many notifications. We do videos once in a while, but it's not like we have regular podcasts. So you won't be bothered with too many notifications. So please consider subscribing to help us out. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.